So welcome to our next session. So we've got, before we have the big break, we have two talks today. By the way, if you go to our website, I uploaded all the preprints of all the papers. There will be formal proper proceedings later with Sawyer, and all information will be on our website. But the papers I received so far, and also Nick's keynote talk after the session break, are available on our website. So we've got two talks today now. First, we have a short paper by Kritika Agrawal and Vikram Pudi, and this work comes from an area that I'm also interested in. Bibliometric enhanced information retrieval, bibliometric scientometrics, and mining scientific literature, which I think has a lot to do with our topic, information science, data science, information retrieval, because it covers all these aspects. And so I'm very pleased to have a paper from this area in our workshop. So I hand over to Kritika, who will talk about the temporal analysis of scientific literature to find the grand challenges and saturated problems. So Kritika, stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. So, hello everyone, I'm Kritika from IIIT Hyderabad. I'm going to present my work on temporal analysis of scientific literature to find grand challenges and saturated problems. So the aim of our work was to find saturated fields and grand challenges in the domain of any scientific literature. But for particular for this work, we have chosen computer science domain, like the complete computer science domain, and not restricted to some particular subdomain like computational linguistics or computer vision or something like that. So our main motivation behind this work was like, as a researcher, when we start working on some problem or we start looking for problems to work on, we are always interested to see like what all problems have been already solved, and what are the like some problems which we need to still require some work. So our main motivation behind this work was like to present some list of problems in computer science, uh, like basically some grand challenges and saturated problems, so that as a all the new researchers and everyone, like they can basically look through this list and see, okay, like what all problems they are interested to solve, or what if they are particularly trying to solve some problem and see like, okay, it is already a saturated field. So like in this is like the very first work in this domain. So like very first work to actually trying to find this kind of problems automatically, like using algorithms. So like we don't have any previous work, and also like the results for this particular work, we are like more like trying to come up with some first initial list, so that the our later community can work on it, and like maybe they can use supervised methods or something to build better things around it. So first of all, I will cover the like what are our definitions for saturated problems and grand challenges are. So for saturated problems are we define as those problems which were like actively studied in the past but now are solved to a great extent. So for example, in the field of natural
You're breaking up, I think.
upon. So basically those problems which were introduced in the like in the past somewhere, but those are like so difficult to solve, or basically they have so much to solve that they are still actively worked upon. So like for example, machine translation in natural language processing field, like initially we So initially, like we had some domain-based systems, like or rule-based systems for machine translation, and still it is a heavily research field in which we are moving from domain-specific systems to independent translation systems. So for carrying out this work, we relied on a DBLP citation network dataset. So this is basically like in this dataset, we had papers and titles, abstract, and the papers which cited this particular paper. So it's more like a citation network. And for our work, like we needed a full text for complete papers. So, like basically, this work is a continuation of our previously published work. So in that particular work, we went through we went through this TBLP citation network dataset and we tried to find out the complete text for the papers present in this TBLP network. So we downloaded through some automatic mappings and stuff. We downloaded all the papers, like full text of the papers, and then we also extracted the title, abstract, and citation context for each of them. So these are like some of the stats for our like number of papers present in our data set and the citation relationship. So the data in this particular time were ranged from the 1936 to 2013, but for the period like 1936 to 1971, the papers were very less. So any temporal analysis or something were not possible on that. So we pruned the data further, and finally we had papers from 1971 to 2013. So this is basically the initial algorithm, or basically a previously published work. Like, so in this, what we were trying to do was to like from the complete paper, we were trying to find the aim and method of that particular paper. So what is the problem they are trying to solve and how that problem is being solved. So like this was a basic bootstrapping framework. Like we had some initially annotated corpus, some gold data set. From that, we built some features. And now that bootstrapping framework, we initialized our feature set using those feature set from the annotated corpus. And then using algorithm, like I'm not going into the much detail of this particular algorithm because like this was previously published, right? So the basic idea was we were learning the features from some initially annotated corpus, and then after each iteration, we got some newly classified phrases. Newly classified phrases. Phrases are basically aim, method, or the phrases which correspond to aim or method or something. And in each iteration, now we were extracting features from using this newly classified phrases too, and then updating our feature set so that in the next iteration it will uh, classify as per the feature set learned from the uh, aims and methods classified in the previous iteration. So like after this, like we had from each paper we had some phrases classified as aim of the paper, method of the paper, and also we tried to classify as a result. But in this particular work, we have only worked upon aim and methods. So now, now what we wanted to do after this was to build some knowledge graph kind of thing, in which like we have like for each paper what are its aim, and like all the papers which has that particular phrase as aim, like for example machine translation, all those papers should point to this particular machine translation node. So now, because we were extracting these phrases directly from the paper, so it was very quite possible that there were different phrases being used for the same term. Like for example, for machine translation, some people were writing machine translation, some were writing MT, or something like neural machine translation, statistical machine translation, and other things. So we wanted to map all these terms together. For doing that, what we did, like we we also had the conferences in which this paper was published. Like this information is there in the DBLP dataset. So first of all, we group these phrases as per the conferences. Like for example, if there is some computer vision based conference, so we will group group all the papers in that conference together, and for each of the group we will run dbScan algorithm to bring the phrases which are like linguistically same or semantically same together. dbScan is basically a clustering algorithm in data mining. Now after this, we to also acknowledge the fact that there are many conferences on one topic, so there can be an overlapping thing, or basically, or machine translation can occur in NACL conference as well as ACL, EMNLP. So to capture that fact, like if we find any common phrase between any two clusters, like initially these clusters were in the individual conferences. Now if we find any common phrase between any two clusters, so we will merge those clusters, and then finally all the words, all the phrases coming in one cluster will correspond to one particular term. So using this, we kind of formed this particular knowledge graph. So in this, there were paper notes and phrase notes, or you can entity notes, and then there were relations like aim, method, result, and cited by. So this particular work was now based upon the analysis we did on top of this knowledge graph which we formed. So for saturated problems, what we did, like we studied the count versus year plot for such problems. Like for some of the very well-known saturated problems, and see like what some common patterns we can draw from each of them. So we came up with this few patterns and things. So like using those, we list a problem P as a saturated problem. Like if T1, suppose T1 is the year when the problem first appeared in the literature, and T2 is the last time when the problem appeared in the literature. So now the count of that problem in year T2 should be less than the count of problem in year T1. And also the peak peak of this count versus year plot. Basically, here count is the sum, like if for each of the year, what is the count of the phrase appearing as aim in each of the years. Sorry, yeah. So this peak in this particular graph should have occurred much before 2013, because our ending year was 2013. So this was to capture the fact that this like majorly in this major work done for this particular problem was in the some past years. And also suppose to now to differentiate between two problems like P1 and P2, like which is a better problem, which is a better candidate for a saturated problem. So now problem P1 has a peak at time T1 and P2 has peak at time T2. So P1 is a better candidate for saturated problem than P2 if the difference between T2 of P1, T2 as defined above, and P1 is more than the difference between T2 of P2 and like the definitions being the same as defined above. Now coming on to grand challenges. For grand challenges, what we observed, like this count versus year plot, like they were mainly having some consistency. Like there are some work done in the previous year as well as in current years, and all these peaks are like basically when the work count was to the maximum level, it was occurring in the previous year as well as the current year. So to finally to capture this fact, like what we did, like we classified a problem P as a grand challenge. Now if the like again T1 and T2 is defined as before, so this T1 should be like before year 2000 and T2 after year 2010. Basically what we are trying to do is like we are trying to capture the fact that the time span for this particular problem is like the time span should be large enough. So after some experiments, we put that time span as like it should be more than 10 years. And also like the count of P appearing as an aim in T2 should be more than some threshold. This is to capture the fact like though for example though POS tagging is a saturated problem, but still there may be one or two papers still trying to solve that problem right now. But those are some edge cases, and we don't want such kind of problems to get classified as grand challenges. So we kept some threshold, like this count should be greater than some threshold, then only it will be classified as grand challenge. Now to also now rank the problems, rank the problems which got from the first step, we use the following algorithm to now basically to
Kritika,
capture.
your time is almost up, so if you could just come to an end, if that's possible, please.
Okay, yeah, I will take 1 minute. To capture the fact that more the time span of the problem, more likely it is a grand challenge, and also the more consistent it is over the years, more likely it is a grand challenge. To capture that fact, we use this particular formula to rank all these grand challenges. So finally, these were the results. Some stats I will find. So these are the saturated problems we found, and we are like this is a word cloud for all the problems we got, in which like all the font size and that shade from black and white shade, like it is corresponding to the directly proportional basically to the rank which we gave in the algorithm. And this is the grand challenges. This is the word cloud for grand challenges. So we also found like what are like top 10 grand challenges and saturated problems we found using our algorithm. Yeah, so in future work, what we are trying to do, like we will use this extracted problems to improve some supervised methods, and also we are working upon trying to find the transition time for problems. So a transition time is defined as the time period where a problem starts appearing as method instead of aim. So, yeah, any questions?
So, thank you very much for your talk. Do we have some questions? One or two quick questions. Whoever is speaking, we're waking up. Was there a question? So otherwise, I have a question. You try to find the grand challenges and the saturated problems, and you showed in your evaluation this the word cloud. So you identified some of these problems, but do you have a kind of evaluation of your approach? I mean, how accurate is the position or the are your results? So is what you extract in your word cloud, for instance, are these really grand challenges? How did you evaluate the accuracy? Because you extract something, but how do you evaluate if what you extracted is correct, or do you plan to do that in the future?
Okay, so right now, because this was the first, like we were the first one to try out this problem, so we didn't have any pre-existing golden data set or golden list of gold list of these challenges from which we can evaluate the accuracy.
Okay.
But in the first step, we what we did we distributed these problems in our institute, like so basically so that people can rank like the different labs in our institute. So of different fields, so they rank like okay if they actually found this problem as a grand challenge or not, or a saturated problem in their particular field. So that was some like kind of initial evaluation done, but yeah, we can have more proper evaluation as we progress further.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other question or one quick one? otherwise, of course, I suggest that people can also use the chat window or speak personally to the speakers in the chat window if they have follow-up questions. So thank you very much, Kritika, for your talk. Yeah, so